While marriage is now free, in ancient times, a woman who had lost her husband repeatedly that would likely find it difficult to find another husband. However, there was a man in history who not only married such a woman, but also rose to prominence, becoming prime minister. During the late Qin dynasty, in the Wei dynasty, there lived a scholar named Qin Ping, who came from a poor family. Although he was poor, his ancestors had inherited dozens of acres of fertile land, and he had a kind brother. If he had devoted himself to farming, he could have lived a stable life. But Qin Ping was unconcerned, handing all his land to his brother and never touching the ground. How did he make ends meet? He relied entirely on his brother's support. His brother was kind and mindful of his parents' wishes, never refused Qin Ping's requests. Thanks to his brother's support, Qin Ping grew strong and distinguished. Furthermore, having attended private school and studied classics from a young age, he developed aspirations as an adult, much like today's travelers, yearning for the vast world. Every spring, he would ask his brother for a small sum of money to travel far and wide, making friends with the most influential people. Seeing him idle all day, the villagers sarcastically asked, "Everyone says your family is poor, so why are you so strong, while your brother is so short?" Qin Ping remained unmoved and continued to do his own thing. His brother had no complaints, but he had already established a family. His wife was extremely dissatisfied with Qin Ping's continued reliance on the family, believing that, as an adult, he should be independent. When his brother learned of this, he berated his wife for her narrow-mindedness that had even divorced her. Qin Ping remained unmoved and continued to rely on his brother for support. When he reached marriageable age, his village was well known for his lazy habits, and no one was willing to marry their daughters. Qin Ping, however, was unconcerned, believing that ordinary women from poor families that could not support themselves, let alone match his ambitions. Some may have been disdainful, but be patient. His subsequent experiences would reveal his unwavering perseverance. Regarding the blind date arranged by his brother, he bluntly stated that he would only marry the daughters of wealthy families. Marrying a poor girl would only bring shame. From then on, no one proposed marriage to him. One day, a wealthy family in a neighboring village held a funeral, and numerous gentry came to offer their condolences. Qin Ping, seeing this as an opportunity to connect with the powerful, volunteered to help with the arrangements. During this time, a wealthy merchant named Zhang Fu, noticing Qin Ping's tall stature and eloquent demeanor, concluded that he had a promising future. To confirm his judgment, he followed Qin Ping home late at night. He found the house dilapidated, its door covered only by a mat, a look of extreme shabbiness. But Zhang Fu, observing closely, noticed a crisscross of wheel tracks in front of the door. During the Qin dynasty, only the wealthy and the nobility that could afford to ride in a horse-drawn carriage. The numerous wheel tracks in front of the door indicated frequent visits from prominent figures, demonstrating Qin Ping's exceptional prestige. He immediately returned home and urged his granddaughter to marry Qin Ping. The next morning, the Zhang family sent a matchmaker to the door. The news spread, shocking the villagers, who flocked to the Qin family home to investigate. At first, Qin Ping himself was quite surprised, until the matchmaker explained the whole story. Then everyone suddenly understood, bursting into laughter and dispersing. It turned out that Zhang Fu's granddaughter had been married 5 times, each husband having died under mysterious circumstances, making her considered unlucky. However, the well-read Qin Ping was unfazed. His only concern was the Zhang family's wealth. The matchmaker immediately assured him that the Zhang family's wealth would support him for generations, and if both parties agreed, the marriage could proceed. Subsequently, under the Zhang family's auspices, Qin Ping married Zhang in a lavish ceremony. The dowry arrived in multiple carriages, and countless gold, silver, and jewelry were all at Qin Ping's disposal. After the marriage, the neighbors expected to see her laugh, but unexpectedly, Zhang was gentle and virtuous, diligent in household chores, and even offered to support her husband's travels and friendships with prominent figures. Years passed, and Qin Ping remained healthy, dispelling the myth that he was unlucky. With his wife's financial support, he no longer worried about making ends meet and could devote himself to studying ancient texts. When chaos reigned and many heroes emerged, he joined Xiang Yu and became his advisor. With Qin Ping's assistance, Xiang Yu defeated the Qin army and captured Xianyang. However, Xiang Yu, while brave, was short-sighted, burning down the palace and distributing fiefs among the princes. Seeing his ambitions unattainable, Qin Ping turned to Liu Bang. After entering the Han camp, he skillfully sowed discord between Xiang Yu and his advisor Fan Zhang, weakening the Chu army. When Xiang Yu besieged Liu Bang and the situation became critical, Qin Ping devised another brilliant strategy, selecting 2,000 women to disguise themselves in armor and feign surrender, thereby distracting the Chu army. As expected, the Chu army swarmed in to compete for the beauties, allowing Liu Bang to escape. Although this move was undignified, Qin Ping paid no mind. After the initial stabilization of the empire, Liu Bang feared rebellion by Han Xian. So Qin Ping promptly devised a trap to capture him and bring him to the capital. Han Xian was eventually killed, and Liu Bang also died of illness. Amidst this turbulent political landscape, Qin Ping earned Empress Lu's trust with his strategic thinking. Recognizing his skill at strategic planning, Empress Lu appointed him prime minister. However, Qin Ping Well aware of Empress Lu's monopoly of power, refused to be drawn into the conflict. He feigned ignorance, avoiding court meetings and indulging in alcohol and women to paralyze Empress Lu. After Empress Lu's death, Chun Ping discerned that the Lu clan, despite its superficial strength, was weak and could not compete with the Lu clan. He thus shifted gears again, allying with the Lu clan princes to exterminate the entire Lu clan and enthroning Emperor Wen of Han.